So it's recording now? Yeah, it is. So then we decided to move 30 kilometers out of Yellowknife, and we went to this territorial park. It's called it's Prelude Lake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like
You could see like lynx on your way to the cabin and bobcats in the
owls.
backyard.
Owls flew over us. Like
Great grays.
Oh my
yeah.
god, amazing. And you just go. You could take water out of that lake, and it's like the cleanest water you can imagine. And that's how people
Emilio
lived
used
out
to
there.
snow bathe
Oh yeah,
because we didn't have running water.
it was good. Just go out and take a bath with snow on my body, and it was like amazing. You got used to it, and then it was just normal after a couple of weeks. Like a week, it was totally fine.
And we spent a lot of time under the northern lights, which was
Yeah.
like super romantic.
My name is Emilio Portal. I'm an artist, composer, producer, sound engineer. I've studied architecture, do lots of things. And I was born in New Westminster, BC. My mom is born in Sudbury from Franco-Ontarian and Irish roots, and also very distant Huron-Wendat and Algonquin roots. My father is Peruvian. He immigrated to Canada in 1969.
So my name is EEPORTAL, and I am I'm an artist. Well, I don't know my earliest memory right now, but I remember my auntie. I have an auntie who was adopted into our family, and she just radiated creativity. And she'd always bring her watercolor paints, and she was an interior designer in Vancouver, and she had really long legs. But in my childhood memory of her, I was like this super elegant, funky, amazing auntie would come, and she just was like painting something outside at random and showing us like her tidal paintings and driftwood paintings, and they were so dreamy and loose and beautiful. And when I encountered that, and then I went back to school, I wasn't a very applied student, but that kind of like gave me that boost to dive into art. EEPORTAL, I think, was born at the University of Victoria, and we were both studying. Emilio was doing his master's there, I was doing my undergraduate degree, and we were given the opportunity to do an installation in a small gallery, and we just decided that we should work together, and we always like bounce ideas off of each other, and so we just started to collaborate and take the canvas that we had created an exterior space with, and had a fire inside. It was called Advanced Life Support Unit, and that was the beginning. We both have a love of Manitoulin, and that's where this work was done, and a kind of longing to know Manitoulin more, and a feeling like that's a kind of a possible home for us. And so I think in this work we wanted to spend more time to deepen our connection to the place through, like, you were getting really intimate in the grasses of that place, and just understanding that there were like species that are really like the piping plover is one of them, who used to live in those grasslands. The waterfall that is just like, it's just so potent there. And
Yeah.
bringing your sister there with us on that trip, and trying to build relationship through, I guess, circling back and continuing to notice and see new things and open a space to, just like a friend, you know, to have a conversation with that place.
Yeah, I think that visceral experience is just nothing can really match that. Somebody can tell you that, explain to you, write a book about, you know, the falls in Kagawong, but it's not the same as actually going there. And I think that's why, like, visual documentation through these technological means are in some ways so critical, you know, so important, because they can share that kind of essence, that intensity of being there, you know, or the intimacy of, like, seeing the detail in grass and sand on the beach and things like that, or the sun and how it's hitting the waves in the water, or the ripples in the water. And yeah, so I think that kind of way of experiencing the world is kind of critical to how we, like, it's so important that becomes the basis of the work, you know. We don't like creating scripts. We don't do that storyline kind of thing. We just have a bunch of work, and then we have footage, we have some notes, we have sound recordings and stuff like that, and then we kind of almost just divide the tasks. Okay, Elise is gonna start, like, just editing, and I have no say whatsoever on it. And Elise just goes and does her thing, and then it's almost like the question, what do you think? That doesn't even matter. It's not part of our process, because it's like, this is what it is. This is how it came out. We have to honor that process. And so Elise does, sometimes I think it's mostly Elise works with visual kind of components and footage, and then she just kind of passes it over. And then I start working and reacting and going back and forth on kind of sonic terms, you know, with whatever we've kind of gathered together, you know.
And then sometimes you'll say, well, maybe, like, with this piece, there's an element missing or that we need to add to it. And so we did some filming here in our home, and then added those layers to it.
Like, how many layers are on that film? It's like probably 5 or 6, you know. It's like very dense piece. And in some way, my approach to making artwork is very connected to how my grandfather was. And my grandfather was really pretty quiet, and he was always outside. He was always, like, doing something, and he had this kind of innocence about him, about experiencing things, and never tried to make life too complicated. It was, like, very direct and and just kind of did what needed to be done, you know. But it was never like work for him in some way. It was like more joy than work. So that's a big lesson that kind of he gave me, even though he never said that. It was just what he did, you know.
Yeah, I think you definitely gave that to
The most common is 4 and 6, you know, in popular music. All those rhythms can be traced both to indigenous people of different regions, both of, you know, North and South America, but obviously from Africa too. But then there's indigenous roots all over the place, like in India, in Asia, all over, and in Europe too. And they all have different rhythms. But the rhythms that have become popularized are definitely rooted from Africa and indigenous roots.
Did that work?
I only did one. I did one.
I wanted to do it together.
Yeah, I know,
like
but you were supposed to do one, and then I was going to do one.
You want to do that again? Let's do it again?
Yeah, you do one, and I'll do
Okay.
one.
All right.
Okay.